Okay, so this is video 2, reintroducing myself to the world after a long hibernation phase.
So here's the thing. This is a sidebar. I did write a script. I also want to talk to you, but I gotta stay on track because your girl will.
So if I'm looking over there, you know what? Let me be. You know? This is just a little disclaimer. I got a lot to say, and I don't want to go on a tangent. Once upon a time, I declared that I knew what my passion was, very publicly, and it felt really good. And then it felt really bad. As I discovered that feeling was fleeting, I got more and more scared. I'm never gonna figure out what I want to do with my life. I also learned that I have ADHD, and that's kind of like part of the process, and like, you know, find a lot of things, and, you know, shiny object syndrome, whatever. I digress. It's fine. So I got it wrong, and that felt really embarrassing. Everybody had told me what I was good at, and that's what I've been following until I declared my passion to the world, and then I got that wrong too. It was kind of like, bruh, like, what are we doing? But also, nobody probably even remembers that, aside from me bringing it up literally right now. Like, none of you probably in your day-to-day life think, remember that time Harley declared her passion on the internet? And if you are, honestly, more power to you. I'd love to speak to you and why you're thinking about that. But you know, we do that in our brains. We think that everybody's thinking about us and all the choices we make, and like, genuinely, I actually don't think that anyone is, and if they are, again, it'd be kind of odd, like, when you think about it. But these are the tangents I was talking about. So, like, what is there to be embarrassed about anyway? There really isn't anything to be embarrassed about. So I've come to realize that I actually really learned a lot through that process. I learned what I don't like and what I do. And I learned about a lot of what I was gravitating towards wasn't exactly the execution, but the concept. I was convinced that interior design was my calling at one point in life, which is the point in which I am referencing. But what I figured out was interior design was the only way my creativity was being activated after years of being stifled. It found a new way to come to life. So this fascination lasted a few years until something happened where I started to take on clients, and I realized, oh my God, I have just repackaged graphic design, which was my previous job before that, into exactly the same thing, but for interiors. And the glittery expectation of what interior design was going to be just immediately faded away, because I realized, oh my God, the exact same process for graphic design, this is exactly what I'm doing. I had ended up in the same loop. It was crazy to me. I was like, oh my God, but it, you know, makes sense looking back. It's all I knew how to do. So whatever. That's not to say that I don't like either of these. That's not it at all, actually. But the way that I was going about them was not sustainable, and it was not in line with my true creativity, but what society and what business and profitability tells you to do. There's this idea that we need to have it all figured out, and we know this isn't true, but I try very hard to not subscribe to those Weasley ideas that get lodged into our brains against our will. But here it was, in my brain, alas, against my will. So, while my declaration of purpose came to a shattering halt, I found more meaning in the journey and the exploration, rolling my eyes at myself, than the actual declaration itself. It is true, unfortunately, that the journey does often teach us more than the destination, and that's where I've landed. I may not end up with a new label at the end of whatever this is, but that really isn't the point. The point of this video and this series is to say, fuck it. I'm very tired of not creating and not sharing with anyone, any audience, for funsies. Like, even when I was younger, I had critique. I had crits in class. We would chat about stuff. We would put our stuff on the wall. People would talk about it. You get ideas, inspiration, and you chat things out. And I'm missing the interaction of the creative community. So I'm starting this, right? Like, I gotta put some stuff out there or else I'm gonna wither away into just like complete nothingness, right? I am very tired of not creating, not sharing with anyone, not sharing with any audience for funsies. I got too caught up in everything needing a pretty package to be marketable and sellable and scalable and funnelable and offerable and blah 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 blah. And oh my God, that just like business mindset. That's not who I am. And it absolutely eroded my creative process. 100%. Hands down. So it was really, really exhausting. Packaging up your creativity in this sellable little bundle, only to realize that that's not how my creativity works. But I just kept trying to do that because that is what everybody tells you and what society tells you that you have to do. Not saying I have a solution to it, by the way, but no matter how I was selling my creativity, it all still felt like work because it is and it was that. Under no circumstances was I selling my actual creativity. I was selling my services. Never once have I put out my own take, my own creative endeavor, my own process, etc. since going on this journey in design and through design. And my OG comm designers, you might remember the general vibe of me in comm design, and I think you might think, you know what, that kind of checks out. None of it, starting back in school, was from my heart and soul. It was all made to appease someone else, you know, be it a professor, society, bosses, etc. And like, I didn't even realize I was doing that until last year or so. Like, over 10 years into my journey in design, I realized I've never made anything with design for myself for fun. Hence this video. You know, maybe I discovered this a little earlier in my interior design moment, but like, that's what it really was. It wasn't about the execution, like I said. It was about, finally, I was using my skills, my interests, my creativity, my passions to create something that I wanted and that I liked for me. And if somebody else liked it, cool. But like, I was just having fun creating, and that was the modality of creation that I was using. It was interior design because I was so burnt out and fried from every other version of creativity that I had experienced up until that point, or that I was used to, like drawing and all this other stuff. I was fried. There was no capacity for that. So curating looks, curating a vibe, it was fun. And like, it still is. But like I said, that wasn't exactly where I wanted to end up. So once again, welcome to my new series where I'm talking about all things creativity, design, maybe wellness, and the general unraveling of creative life and creative careers. This is more of a journey for myself, but also just to share with you all where the heck I've been, what the heck I've been doing, and hopefully have a little bit of fun, share a little bit of knowledge, and hopefully make some cool things along the way. Thanks for watching. Bye. And wherever you're seeing this, if you could click the buttons, that'd be great. Okay, bye.